Hey, what is going on, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the latest release from Kotobukiya's Megami device line. This is once again another collaboration with the Alice Gear Aegis game. This is Sitara Kaneshiya Ver.Karwa Chauth. Yeah, so a little bit interesting name there for this, and again, I'm not really familiar with the series or anything, so I can't really speak too much to that. I know some of you guys are familiar with the game, play the game, whatever. I'm pretty excited to get this open and get started on the build. So, as always, guys, a big thank you to USA Gundam Store for their support. If you guys want to check this kit out there on their site, you can get this for 10% off, as well as everything there on their site. Aside from Gunpla, of course, they do also have all sorts of Kotobukiya stuff, including Megami device, frame arms girls, and all this kind of stuff if you're interested. So as always, just the box art here. I do like their boxes with the black background. It's always a little bit, I think, just a little bit more striking with the black background instead of the white, but it does still have the same two-tone effect here with all the white background being in just a matte finish, and then the printing and like the character illustration is all in a gloss finish, so you can see that from the reflection on that. So, and then we always have this interesting blurb here on the front as well. I like to check this out. It says, characters from the 3D action shooting game Alice Gear Aegis are being converted into Megami devices. Sitara is the rambunctious otaku of the Narokozaka manufacturing. Okay. Despite her small stature, Sitara expertly uses her oversized weapons to take down Vice. I don't know who Vice is or what any of that is about, but alright, there you go. Around here on the side of the box, we just have the same thing there, just the big A2 logo for the numbering for this. Let's go to this side here first. Here you can see just a front and back view, what the kit is going to look like, all built up and painted up in this photo. Over here we have the same pose there with the unpainted version. So this is what it's going to look like just straight out of the box without any work, any panel lining or painting, anything like that done to it. And then here's how it's going to look, fully painted up. So not all that different. The color separation, everything on it should be pretty nice. So I like how on the back you really can't see much of the girl at all. It just looks like a frame arms kit or something from the back. So she's got these mecha legs on there and these big guns and these big parts that go around by her back, these wing bits. But she does have just a regular set of legs, so you can make the unarmored version. You can also make the cat version of her, which not too interested in that, but it does have the parts to have a cat tail and cat ears as well, it looks like. Then it looks like we got some effect parts included in here as well. I know those did also come with the Cade kits, so that was that kit I need to review. I've got that kit, I need to review it for you guys, so I will get around to reviewing that kit. That kit is A1, so that's why this one is A2. Anyway, so just showing how you can mix and match parts here with that one, of course, and then again, just a look at how it's going to look straight out of the box. It does come, it looks like, with this purple stand for that. That's cool, clear purple. Around on the other side here, we've got to look at our optional faces that are included. So you've got happy face, just kind of regular face, and then a little curious face over here. And then we have some water slides included as well. Not as extensive as other Megami device kits have been, but some interesting water slides on there. Basically some like kind of interesting pattern decals on there. Anyway, and the list price over here is for 8,100 yen, so about 80 bucks for this. They're definitely a little bit more expensive, these Alice Gear Aegis Megami device kits. So there's a good sized box. There's a lot of parts in here. It's very full. So let's take a look at this on the front, just the same illustration from the front of the box. I like the character design, but this illustration honestly not all that interesting. Just kind of seems a little bit generic, just doing the peace sign like that. Anyway, on the back, just the logos there. And let's open it up here to the front where we've got just some more introduction information about that. Some cool poses here. I always find these pictures at the front of the manual very useful for just posing ideas. So if you're ever having some trouble posing the kit, which they're pretty easy kits to pose, but if you're having trouble, you can always refer to the poses here in the manual for good ideas on how to pose them, as well as a character illustration you have there as well, it looks like. In the next pages, we have our parts list, so you've got all of that, the grayed out areas being a couple of parts that we're not going to end up using in this case, it looks like. And then it's just on with the construction. So as usual, you build just kind of the main body first without all the extra stuff on there like that, and then you build all the extra stuff. So just we'll go through taking the body apart, then building all the extra stuff, weapons and all the armor and everything. And then there's just some different weapons here, how to equip the weapons and effect parts and all of that, how to switch out the head if you wanted to put a frame arms girl head on here instead. It's got a different ball joint part for that. And then at the very back here is our color guide. So the color guide for the kit is all here. The color guide is all there in Japanese, but you got all that. And then the decal guide as well, eye decals, and then where all the decals are going to go around on the kit here. So it is looking pretty cool. and then on the weapons there as well. The weapon design is really super cool, and I like just the design. Yeah, like I said, the character design, very cool. I like the mecha legs and everything here, so really cool. Let's check out the runners. Alright, so once again, here is the water slide decal sheet. Very nice. You have the decals there for the eyes, and you have, usually with these decal sheets, the nice thing is you have a couple different options with the eyes, more so than what you have pre-printed on the faces, and it's just like looking off to the sides. If you wanted to have her ultimately looking off to the left side, but on the pre-printed face she's looking to the right, you just switch out the eyes here with the decals on there, and then you just got some other different cool line marking decals. These are pretty cool over here as well. I believe those are for the gun. But anyways, some nice decals on here. And then our pre-painted faces here, as always, the quality on them looks fantastic. She's got a little bit darker skin tone here, and just the painting on these always looks very nice. So there you go, there's your 3 face options for this. Then you've got a few more parts here with pre-painting on them. These parts, which I believe are both for the neck with some gold painted on there. And then you've got these parts here. These are for the torso section with a little bit of black pre-painted on those, or like a dark navy blue printed on those. And then parts for the waist, hip section there, they're white, kind of off-white plastic with some dark blue printed on there. And then these parts, which I believe, yes, these are for over the breasts. They're once again in off-white with some dark blue printed on there. Then you've got all of your hand option parts here, once again in the dark navy blue. You've got closed fists, open expressive hands, holding hands, and open resting hands. Then you've got a set of trigger finger hands and holding hands with the pre-molded wrist parts on there as well. So that's just going to give you a stronger wrist connection, and then just regular trigger finger hands for just the standard wrist. Though in this kit we do also have the addition of another 2 set of hands here, the peace sign hands and the pointing finger hands. So there you go. We've got this little clear purple runner here just for the parts for the base. Alright, then getting into the main runners here for all of the hair parts, as well as parts for the cat ears, the cat tail. This is in a dark brown color here for runner A. Runner B in that light tan color for a bunch of the parts there for the body. Runner C, all over skin tone parts in that tan color skin tone. Runner D, some more parts for the arms here in dark blue. And then runner E, some more joint parts for the body in tan. Runner F in clear purple is our parts for the base, including that cool Megami device logo base there with the kind of matte finish on the top and just the way that it's molded. And then you got the Megami device logo there just without the matte finish, so you get that cool look for that. Runner G, just a tiny little runner here with a couple more parts for the hip section and the neck. And then runner H is getting into all of the weapons and like kind of armor parts here. So we've got this runner in tan with some really nice details on those wing parts, it looks like. Runner I here in just kind of a medium gray color for a bunch of the mechanical parts. And we've got 2 of this eye runner. Runner J, more parts here in tan for the armor and mecha stuff. Runner K here in molded gold for a few parts around here on the body. They're going to be in gold. Runner L is back to gray, and it seems to be mostly parts for the weapons, the rifle most likely. And just a few more mechanical parts here on Runner M as well. And we've got 2 of this M runner. Runner N is in a clear green, and there once again is that sword blade. But again, I'm not sure if we have the sword handle anywhere in there. I'm thinking maybe not, but I'll let you guys know in the review for sure if I find that in there. And then we do also have Runner O as well, which is also in a clear green as well. And then Runner P is in clear blue for those cool blast effect parts. We've got 2 of this runner. Runner Q here, we've got some parts in off-white, including little tufts of hair for inside the cat ears. Runner S, also in off-white, a bunch of the little wing parts, details for going around on the armor parts. We got 2 of this S runner. And then Runner V, once again in clear purple here, some different blast effect parts. We got 2 of this V runner. And then Runner Z here is our standard and familiar runner here of a bunch of the smaller joint parts in just ABS plastic here, once again in dark blue. So as you can see, there's a lot of runners and a lot of the face parts and pre-painted parts and hand parts and the base and everything. There's a lot of stuff in this box. Alright, and all built up, here's how she's gonna look, and this is such a cool, impressive looking kit when it all comes together. I really just love the style of this. Just the actual, I mean, it's kind of like any kit like this, there's 2 sections of it. There's like the female girl character, and there's like the mechanical part of it, and both of them I like. I mean, the girl's character design is pretty cool. And it's a little bit different from ones that we've seen before, having that little sort of more, I'm not sure exactly how to say this, sort of Egyptian kind of style, I guess, sort of. I could be wrong about that exact geography, but And then the mechanical parts are super cool as well. The big white claw parts and the big wings and everything, it all just looks really cool. And the design and the details are really great as well too, all the details on everything. So once you get this all, at least, I mean, I was gonna say all painted up, but you don't even have to paint up the whole thing. If you just did some panel lining on this, just give it some nice top coat, I mean, it'd look amazing just straight out of the box. And you have the water slide decals included as well, so I mean, you just add those. This is one of those kits that you wouldn't need to paint the whole thing, just do like a little bit of work and it's going to be looking fantastic just even without being fully painted. And she also comes with a lot of accessories too. Now we have a lot of accessories or extra parts here left over that are meant for changing her into her like unarmored form, which I'll show you guys later on in the review, so those parts will just come later. We've got all the effect parts, which you guys saw on the runners, but just to run through these again, you've got 4 of these small blue blast effects, 2 of these larger purple ones, 2 of these small little purple effects, 4 of these pointy long blue ones, and 2 of these kind of pointy purple ones. And so of course some of these are meant to be combined like this or like this, just for example, but you can mix and match them up. For example, something like this, which is now looking a little bit more like a flower than a blast effect, but you guys get the idea. These can be mixed and matched a little bit. As for her main weapons, here is the beam spear, and it's pretty awesome. The green beam on that looks really cool. You've got a couple of hard points here, or like one hard point on both sides to plug in more parts. If you wanted to customize this some more, you could add length to the handle by just making your own separate piece for that as well. I mean, you could pull this apart, add something more in between there as well. And as for the actual beam effect part itself, you can remove that, and this is also just a standard 3mm size peg. So for example, you could use one of these blue effect parts, so it's kind of tight there, it doesn't really fit in between those parts super well, but you get the idea. If you shave that down a little, that would fit in there a little bit better, but you can swap that out for something different if you prefer, or just use it like that without any beam effect part in there like that. So there's a lot of different options that you could do with just that. Then you have this awesome rifle as well, which is so cool with the clear green part inside there and like little hose underneath. The detail on this thing looks really amazing. I just love the color combinations and everything for this, and this one as well too. We have the little barrel tip at the end there, which is not really big enough for putting in an effect part. So what you can do is actually have a separate barrel effect here, or a separate barrel piece. You can swap that out for this one, and now you are able to plug an effect part into there for something like this if you wanted to have an effect of that shooting with a blast like that. So that's really cool. You have the optional barrel part for that, so you can choose to swap that out if you wanted to use an effect part with this. And then one other accessory which is useful for this form of her is this optional part here for the front skirt. It seems a little bit more like a loincloth or something, but this covering here you can swap out, because with this part on here as it is, you can't really move the legs up. It's blocking the legs from moving up very far. So if you just swap this part out, plug this other one on here instead, then it's looking like it's like flying up like that, which maybe you would prefer if you want to look like it's like a windy day, for example, but then that'll give you more upward mobility there of the legs. So as for the articulation, while we're on the topic, I'm not going to go through every single point of articulation here. As you can see, it's got a ton of points of articulation everywhere. All this section here, everything's all articulated, so you can move these things around like every which way. These big claw bits up here on the top, I'll just show you guys what those look like in action, but these are really cool. Basically, you turn those around so they're facing the front, and the big main arms of that, of course, can open up. This whole section can sort of like separate away from there as well, and then you have the little teeth for that also opens up like that, so you have like a little claw here within the claw for this whole big thing. And so it's this whole big contraption that all looks very cool, very convincing, interesting weapon there on the side of the shoulder. Not exactly shoulder, but anyway, it's up there. And also, just one other point that I will make about the articulation is that these parts here coming off the side of the head do sort of limit the articulation a little bit, because they are going to be getting in the way as you're moving the head around. And with all this stuff, it's kind of hard to get everything moving around. But you can see these big long parts here off the side, and also these big parts here on the back of the head will kind of be crashing around with stuff if you're having these displayed up in a certain way or something. So you just have to be a little bit careful with your posing of this, but I mean, it just looks super cool. I love those big parts hanging off the side of the head. So as I'm trying out a few different poses here, action poses with weapons and things, you guys should be able to see that not only does this kit look great, it looks great when it's posed up as well. Action poses, the articulation, everything all is great. Now there is kind of a lot to manage there, because you have to move the actual body, the arms, the legs, the head, and the different wing parts, and it's kind of hard to get everything, or it just takes, not hard, it just takes a little while to get everything all aligned and everything exactly how you want it. But once you get it into a cool pose, and it looks fantastic, again, just all the shapes and everything and the parts and all this just look really cool. All the angles and everything. It's just a really great design. And posing this kit, I haven't really had any issues of like any loose little parts or something. Sometimes with these kits you do have like some tricky parts that like to pop out all the time, and I haven't really had that at all. Overall, everything stays together pretty well, and you don't really have any weight issues either. The massive engine kind of things on that are attached onto the back, those are the connections, everything there is tight enough to hold those up without any issue. Holding the weapons is not any problem. The spear, of course, is not going to be that heavy. The rifle is a little bit heavier, but you do also have like a part that attaches around the wrist that attaches onto the gun as well. You can just hold it just with the handle, but I'm also going to be using here that extra wrist attachment part as well, just for a little bit of added security. But as you can see, you can hold up the rifle without any issue at all. And even with the extra security of that wrist attachment part, you still are relying on the shoulder to be able to hold that up. And that's another problem, that sometimes these kits are a little bit loose in the shoulder holding up massive weapons, but so far, at least for this one, the shoulder is holding up fine. So as this is the fully armed up form of Sitara here, I've got to give it a big A+, as it just checks all the boxes. The detail, the design, the stability of it, the different weapon options, everything looks great. But let me show you the less armored form, and we'll see how that looks as well. Alright, so here you go, and I just want to say, usually when it comes to the unarmored form, it does seem like a little bit of a waste when you're buying a kit like this. They're not cheap, and then to just display it or just to build it in some way with just all the armor off does seem like kind of a waste. But in this case, this is one of those kits where you've got a great kit with all the armor off too. It's just a great looking kit of just Sitara there by herself. But all the extra stuff that you wouldn't use would make some really awesome kitbash material for kitbashing with your Gunpla kits. So this is one where if you had some parts of this kit that you weren't using, it's very useful parts that could be used for doing some kitbashing. I mean, not only Gunpla, you could kitbash it with other frame arms girls or Megami device or frame arms kits or whatever. But just throwing that out there, that I think no matter how you end up wanting to display this kit, it's going to be amazing as is. And if you have stuff left over, it's going to be actually probably only for the better, because then you can do some really cool stuff with that. And then just a couple last things to mention about this. Of course, you can also use that thinner action-based sort of like base connector arm here for just holding up the Sitara girl there just by herself. You don't have all the extra stuff on there. You don't need the more heavy-duty base arm for that. This one works plenty well. And also, there's this quick look also at the cat ears and tail options for this as well. Again, not something that I'm into and won't end up using that for this at all, I'm sure, but those parts are also included if you want to use them with this or with the different kits that those parts might fit on. But overall, guys, I mean, if you couldn't tell already, I am really super happy with this kit. Highly recommend it if you guys are in the market for any of the Megami device kits or any types of this kit before. If you've never built one before, especially, this is going to be another one that I recommend. People sometimes ask when I do these reviews, I'm looking to get into these, which one would you recommend for like a first kit to try? Of the Megami device kits, and I think if you're especially coming from a Gunpla background, I think this is one is this really enjoyable kit. So whether you're already a fan of Megami device kits or you're looking to try one out, I would definitely recommend this one to you guys. And there's another version of this that's on the way pretty soon, and that is the Tenki version, which is just basically a dark color version which comes with some different accessories and stuff for it. So really looking forward to checking out that one too. I was excited for that, but now that I've spent some time with this kit, I'm really looking forward to the next version of it as well. It's not like it's super different, but it's definitely different enough that I think it's going to be a really enjoyable one as well. So looking forward to that. Until then, guys, of course, if you do have any other further questions or comments about this kit, do feel free to let me know down in the comment section below. If you guys want to see more reviews like this, just make sure to subscribe. Really appreciate all of the support, everyone. And again, thank you to USA Gundam Store for their support as well, guys. Do check the link to their site there down below and check out the kits available there on the site. So until next time, guys, have a great day. Bye bye.